world surrounded by franchises, reboots, and shared universes. An elite team of podcasters will risk body and soul to investigate the depths of intellectual properties, one multiverse, subgenre, and trend at a time. Who are we? We're the IP Squad.
Welcome back to the IP Squad and our ongoing investigation into films based on the King Arthur legend. I'm John Campbell, of course, my partner in this investigation, Kinsey Campbell.
Hello.
Kinsey, here it is. We've reached the end of theatrically released King Arthur movies. I'm sure there'll be another one just around the corner. Hollywood can't resist this recognizable public domain. Well, because we've talked about this. The appeal of things like this or Robin Hood is they are recognizable public domain IP. So you don't have to pay anyone to use them. But I think, as we've seen time and time again, recognizable doesn't equal popular.
No, most of these films have not been particularly popular.
And this one, it was even more so than last week's movie, a massive bomb, like a huge financial failure.
This one people did not go to this one.
No, and I can't blame them fully, even though I kind of like this movie. But I will say there's a lot of things working against it in just its presentation and marketing, more so than in the actual film itself, which I think is pretty fun.
Yeah, I enjoy this movie. I think it's fun. I like it because it's nuts and
right.
It's not boring at all.
No,
but it would be a tough movie to market because it's very different.
And it was a classic cart before the horse. They were already talking about the 6-movie plan before this thing even. I mean, like the whole. As they were putting this together, it was all like, and this is but one movie in the shared universe. Because here we now get to, we are, of course, talking about 2017's King Arthur: Legend of the Sword, which automatically makes, I think, a lot of people roll their eyes where it's like we just call it, Legend of the Sword. Oh, God, it's step. I think there is an attitude now amongst filmgoers that like, oh, God, are you going to try to make me watch 8 of these?
We are sort of prepared for that now.
Yeah, and it is just kind of... We
expect it.
And like I said, I enjoy this movie, and I especially like the people behind it who made it, but even I was like, oh, that's a mistake to, like, lead with, this is step one. We always know that's a huge mistake in Hollywood, is the hubris of going, like, get ready to see these for the next 20 years.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's definitely tricky to start with that.
Make a movie, and if that movie's good, it's always that's the thing. Even Marvel. Iron Man was a gamble, right? That movie. Mm-hmm. There were seeds of things, but you don't watch that movie necessarily. It wasn't like you don't watch that and go like, I smell a universe. It's in there, but it really is a solid, beginning, middle, and end story. Which I think surprisingly, this movie mostly is. I was actually surprised in watching it again that there's not a ton of like universe seeding in it.
There's not as much as I thought there would be. I thought there'd be a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, and also I don't know how much of a clear plan they had for the Arthurian cinematic universe, as they were going to call it.
I don't know. Because even based on the ending, I'm like, I don't know where they were going next, other than just like by the end, he's King Arthur.
Yeah, from what I gather, I think the next plan, the movie would have been Lancelot, and it would have been a solo adventure with him, where at the end of it, he would have met Arthur. I believe that was the next thought.
Okay.
And so the idea about like, because they really saw this as this Avengers movie where like each knight comes to join the Knights of the Round Table, and then their Avengers movie would be the Knights of the Round Table, and so there'd probably be a Guinevere movie, and then that would. So I mean, at a certain point, it felt like Hunnam's King Arthur was going to kind of end up being like Nick Fury, where he popped into all of these, and you're just like, this is all very ill thought out, and also the idea that you think, if people think the Marvel movies are too similar, like the Lancelot movie wouldn't have been that different. You're just like, so it's just a different medieval adventure with a different guy.
No, I don't know how they would have. What they would have done with Lancelot to make us a different type of story because of what they do with King Arthur in this movie. Which is a very different origin story than we've seen for him.
Yes.
And is an origin story you might assume Lancelot would have, but King Arthur has it. And so I don't know what you would do with Lancelot.
I do think Lancelot would have been an interesting, like, because you're right. They sort of turn this Hunnam's King Arthur feels more like Lancelot. I said my big hot take on this movie is I think this movie would be better if it had nothing to do with King Arthur and it was just a Guy Ritchie fantasy action movie.
Which it could have been.
It basically
is. King Arthur
doesn't matter.
For the majority of it doesn't really matter.
No.
It really does just sort of feel like a cool medieval movie.
Right.
And then you're like, oh, right, it's King Arthur.
Yeah, at the end, you are sort of like, I will say, the movie doesn't really feel like it's building to him becoming king at the end necessarily. Like, he's building this, like, uprising against the king, but then it sort of feels like, well, it is King Arthur, so he needs to be named king at the end. And that's, like, the least interesting part of it to me.
Yeah. I don't think this is a movie where you particularly care if he becomes king. Like, you want to see him defeat Jude Law, but you're sort of like, oh, I guess if he becomes king, that's fine.
That's what, you just kind of like, it doesn't, it's a really weird thing. I want to talk about how we ended up with this movie, though, because it's 13 years between last week's movie, 2004's King Arthur, and this week's movie. And in that 13 years, Warner Brothers was just really hot on the idea of making King Arthur and went through a number of attempts to do it, including, and keep in mind when this would have been, in the mid-2000s, probably around the time that Superman Returns comes out, Bryan Singer was going to straight up remake John Borman's Excalibur. That was a thing that was in development for a while. He was going to do a new Excalibur.
Terrible idea.
Yeah, that would have, yes, of course. We all know that would have been quite bad. We know a lot about Bryan Singer, not only in his personal life, but even in how unprofessional he was as a director, on top of the actual monstrous things he was up to. So everyone dodged a bullet there.
Yeah, pretty much every story about him is terrible.
Also, I'm pretty sure if anyone's going to remake Excalibur, it's going to be Zack Snyder. That guy bleeds that movie.
It would have to be him.
And you know what? I would be first in line to see that. I think that would be a really, probably pretty rad movie.
Probably.
Yeah. Although once again, I always say it should be a multi-part series for like Netflix rather than a movie. Anyway, then they were going to develop a buddy take that was going to be called Arthur and Lancelot, and they had cast you would have seen this movie because they had cast.
Okay.
they had this cast. Or at least the leads.
Oh.
For Arthur and Lancelot, they were going to play... Kit Harington was going to play Arthur, and Joel Kinnaman was going to play Lancelot.
Yeah, I would have seen that.
Yeah. But then Warner Brothers...
Yeah, I would have been there.
But then you'll love this. Warner Brothers ultimately got cold feet because they felt neither one of those guys were big enough movie stars. And then in a search to find bigger names, that movie kind of fell apart.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they attempted to replace both actors with more profitable ones. They were TV guys, right? They would have been coming off of Game of Thrones and The Killing at that point.
Like Game of Thrones and The Killing. Mm-hmm. Okay. But those were both very popular shows.
And those guys had big heat.
They would have been
those were the breakout stars of those shows, right? I mean, those guys had heat on them for sure.
So they would have been, they hadn't been movies, but they would have been very well known.
And especially Kit Harington would have carried that Game of Thrones audience that would have been the same audience for an Arthur movie. So I do think that's kind of weird, especially when you end up with Charlie Hunnam, who is also about the same level of fame as a lead on a big TV show. So I think that's very interesting.
Because he would have been known mostly for Sons of Anarchy.
Right. And I think they could have, I mean, that not who knows what the quality of that movie would have been, but they could have done what they did here, which is then you get a bankable movie star in the villain role, right?
Yeah.
Because that's very much the case here.
Is this when Kit Harington went and did Pompeii instead?
Yeah, I think it ended up being
about the same time.
I would imagine so, because once again, it's hard to know. It's sometime between 2004 and 2017, so probably around the time he did Pompeii and Kinnaman does RoboCop, right? Those sort of ended up being their star vehicles to both not successful.
I didn't see Pompeii. I did see RoboCop.
I saw RoboCop, and people are shocked that I defend it, but I only defend it in the sense that I respect that it did its own thing. It did not try to copy the Verhoeven movie. That is my stance on that.
Good choice.
Yeah, it's its own thing, and I think it's got flaws, but I think there's some interesting ideas in it that I like. But it was sort of a not great showcase for Kinnaman as a movie star, who has found other work that has been much better for him.
Yes, he's doing just fine.
Oh yeah. No, he's doing, and he's got as of this recording, like just the other day, he's going to be headlining a new Amazon show, and you're like, that's great. And Harrington's doing just fine too.
Yeah.
Anyway, but so
all these people are doing just fine.
So then they come around to, you know what? Screw it. We need a cinematic universe. And originally, this movie the original title of the script was Knights of the Round Table: King Arthur. And then it would have been Knights of the Round Table: Lancelot. Knights of the Round. Horrible idea.
No, I mean that definitely. Yeah.
Not that King Arthur: Legend of the Sword is a much better title, but
no, but it's better than that.
Yeah, well, because that really sets it up as that. And so what it says here, this is just according to the Wikipedia, that they ended up taking all of these scripts that we had mentioned just before and sort of like smashing them, slicing them, and combining them into what would end up being called a Frankenstein's monster of a screenplay, which is the movie we saw here.
Okay.
Yeah. A strange Frankenstein's monster-style screenplay incorporating elements from several unproduced Arthur scripts. And they bring in Guy Ritchie, who apparently had long wanted to make a King Arthur movie. And
I didn't know that.
he and co-writer Lanham Wigram basically sifted through all these abandoned ideas for other King Arthur movies and soldered together the movie we saw, which I think kind of explains the weirdness of it. Like, is this even a King Arthur movie? This is kind of its own thing. And up to like...
Yeah, it's...
Yeah, go ahead.
It's the one that feels the most like its own thing.
Yeah.
It's so different than any of the ones we saw before.
By the time he's pulling the sword out of the stone, you're almost like, why is he... Oh, right, because it's supposed to be King Arthur. We have to do that.
It's King Arthur. He's got to pull the sword out of the stone.
But up to basically like filming, Astrid Bjerg Frisbee, I don't know how to pronounce her name, I apologize, who plays the female lead in this, who is just called the Mage, was Guinevere in every draft of the script right up to filming before they went, actually, we don't like that and it doesn't make sense, so just make her not Guinevere.
Okay, I was wondering if it was going to be like revealed that her name is Guinevere.
It was supposed to be, and then like I said, I mean, it sounds like up to like through casting, and then they were like, actually, that doesn't make any sense, and let's save Guinevere for a later movie. And so instead, I would say the problem with her character is, as a result of that, she's fairly ill-defined.
I mean, she's the magic lady who's with them.
Right. And it's
she's got magical powers.
She's not bad in it. It's just like kind of, she's just there to, somebody's got to do the magic, right?
She's got it. We got to have a magic lady.
Right. So you end up with this. And at one point, I mean, I think maybe this was when it made more sense that it was Guinevere. They really tried to pursue Elizabeth Olsen for this part.
That would make sense if it was Guinevere, yeah.
Yeah. And at some point, Merlin was in this movie, and Idris Elba was going to play him.
Whoa.
Or possibly. I mean, it sounds like they really... this movie was lacking in. They didn't have a clear idea of what they were trying to do as it went on, and so I think
don't know where Merlin would have been.
Yeah,
in this movie.
well, okay, but I'm sure somebody also at Warner Brothers was like, "Hey, save it. We can make a Merlin movie."
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah,
you gotta have a Merlin movie.
Yeah. So, anyway, they end up casting Charlie Hunnam. I will give you the other people that they considered, if I have it here, because Hunnam ended up with the part, of course, but also considered were Henry Cavill and Jai Courtney.
I wasn't expecting Jai Courtney. I knew you were going to say Henry Cavill.
Yeah, who ends up, of course,
just
becoming... Because where is this? This is after Man from U.N.C.L.E. Yeah, this is 2 years after Man from U.N.C.L.E.
So it's just a thought based on the fact that Guy Ritchie had made Man from U.N.C.L.E. with him.
Yeah.
That, I could see him thinking Henry Cavill for this.
Right. So who ends up becoming, a staple of Guy Ritchie movies, although so does Hunnam to a certain extent. Mm-hmm. So, Guy Ritchie has...
Yeah, because they'll do The Gentleman.
The Gentleman will be after this, yeah. Which I always looked at The Gentleman as like him sort of washing his hands of this movie and like get back to what I do. Get out of the
he went back,
the pressure of a big studio franchise movie back to just like pure Guy Ritchie.
Yeah. That movie is very much pure Guy Ritchie. Even though this movie has so many.
I mean, I think one of the things about this movie is because they were so unclear about... This is just my supposition from having watched it and read the history of this, is because they were so unclear about the King Arthur stuff, the stuff that ends up coming through the most is the Guy Ritchie stuff. That the Arthur stuff is very ill-defined and nobody's quite sure what to do with it. So the stuff that shines through is the stuff Ritchie is confident in.
Yeah.
Which is
the best part.
The non-linear
that energy.
The non-linear stuff, the like I mean, the movie a lot of the movie functions like a crime movie, which of course is the genre that most people associate Guy Ritchie from. There's a lot of people planning, which is also very Guy Ritchie. There's all this sort of very stylized action throughout it. And I think this ends up being kind of a movie for no one to a certain extent. I think that's what ends up hurting it in the end, is like hardcore Guy Ritchie fans don't necessarily want to see a fantasy action movie, and fantasy action movies are like, what's all this stylized crime movie stuff? And so it ends up sort of being like, it ends up being a very unique blockbuster movie, which is not necessarily what a studio wants.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a medieval movie like this.
No.
Because it's very unique to see that stylized crime element in medieval times.
Right. It's
because you just don't see that. And so you're like, whoa, this is kind of interesting and unique.
It's very modern, the way people talk and look. And it's not, it doesn't have, it lacks a lot of the formality we've seen in the other movies. I mean, it really is that like Guy Ritchie streets of London, like, oh yeah, Sherlock, guys talking like that. What the fuck you doing there? You know, like when Jude Law drops an F-bomb, you are like, whoa.
Well, yeah, drops an F-bomb, and it's surprising because that has not been the case for us in these other movies. I think it's enjoyable when you watch it after all these other King Arthur movies, because it doesn't have all the things that sort of made the other ones kind of boring and dull. And so you're like, oh wow, this is kind of fun because it's lively and it's moving and it's got energy.
I think the best way to approach this movie is as a Guy Ritchie medieval action movie than it is as an adaptation of King Arthur, because we've talked before about different things that these are adapting, whether that be historical stuff or myths or specific books. This one is really, aside from like a couple of beats of the classic legend story, is entirely, and there's another credited writer, but from the trivia, none of what he wrote is in here. It's all Ritchie and Wigram's script that's on film. And Lionel Wigram, we should mention, who co-wrote this with Ritchie, also co-wrote the Sherlock Holmes movies with him, which is definitely why Warner Brothers turned to him, because he had sort of reinvented that. I think the thing there is Sherlock Holmes is in the crime genre, so the Ritchie stuff didn't bump people.
Yeah, that was easier to add his style onto that, because this is the first King Arthur movie we've seen where Arthur's growing up on the streets of London.
Yeah, and thieving, right? I mean, that's the he's
thieving. He's a thief.
He's a box.
He's a fighter.
You get the whole montage of him like learning to steal, and as he grows up.
Yeah,
and stuff
we see him as he grows. We see him get older and older as he's going around stealing and learning to fight, and then we see him age.
Yeah, I mean,
into Charlie Hunnam.
It's hard not to see the similarities between Hunnam's physique in this and Brad Pitt in Snatch. They're very similarly like lean boxer builds of these guys, and even actually the shape that Downey gets into in Sherlock Holmes is very similar. There's sort of this like sinewy, muscular, but not like bulky. Guy Ritchie likes a scrappy fighter.
Yeah. Do you want me to get into talking about Charlie Hunnam?
Well, I can tell you. I can actually tell you more about Charlie Hunnam's specific.
Oh.
Yeah. Because Hunnam was.
You can get into his physique.
Apparently, he was quite thin from doing the last season of Sons of Anarchy, and they said during the auditions and stuff, Ritchie just kept going, "You're great, man, but." Do you have the look? Yeah, and it's like he just said. Hunnam said that when Ritchie brought up his physique for the fourth time, he said, "Look, dude, you keep bringing this up, the physicality. It's obviously a primary concern. So if you want me to do away with all this auditioning bollocks, I'll fucking fight those two other dudes. I know who they are. You can bring them both in here. I'll fight them both. The one who walks out the door gets the job." And that was what Ritchie was like, all right, I'm going to go with you then.
Oh, my God.
He was going to fight Henry Cavill and Jai Courtney if that was what it was going to take to prove to Guy Ritchie.
Jesus
Christ. Yeah.
Can you imagine if that was an audition? We brought the three of them in and they fought each other. And we'll see who wins.
He then proceeded to go into training with UFC fighters.
Okay.
And they talk about he put on like 90 pounds of muscle for this thing.
Whoa.
And and was they talk about he did 500 push-ups every day as part of his training for this.
500 push-ups?
Yeah.
That's insane. I can't even do one push-up.
This is such a Guy Ritchie description. He said, "When Charlie walked in and took his shirt off, I saw his 26-pack abs. He was ready to rumble."
What is going on in the cast of this movie?
He was ready. Well, I think that's a Guy Ritchie thing. Is like
he's ready to rumble.
Well, I think that's the Guy Ritchie of it, though, right? It's not about does this guy quote unquote look shredded, which he does, but it is like I want to see a guy who looks like he's gonna fuck some dudes up, He's gonna kick some ass, and he does look like that when he's taking his shirt off and doing his boxing. It looks like he's gonna wreck some people.
He's very fit in this movie.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
Yowza.
So yeah, I mean,
he's a fit dude in this.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, it's a similar. There is a similar build to the Ritchie protagonist. He likes these guys, like I said. I mean, it's
he likes the big tough guy.
Yeah, I mean, guys who read as tough, not just muscly. Because there are sort of there's the pretty boy like male model show muscles, and then there's the like I'm gonna kick some ass. I mean, you look at even his current stuff like Tom Hardy in Mobland is a guy who looks like could just knock a dude through a wall. Yeah.
No, that's what he wants.
Well, because that's for most of his stuff, it would be guys who would need to be intimidating on the street. So, it's very
they
very
gotta
interesting.
Be a little bit scary.
But yeah, he earned his respect by offering to literally fight for the part.
I don't think I've heard of that before in an audition of, listen, I'll fight the other people.
Yeah.
To get this.
That's pretty...
I will actually fight them.
Yeah. It was,
which is nuts.
Pretty wild.
That's quite a way to get a part there, man.
The other cool thing
What
about this is
on?
he hired the stunt team that did the motion capture for the Witcher games to do the stunt design, like the fight scene designs, which makes sense because I don't think you've ever played those games. But the fighting style,
I've not played games.
I'm not shocked by that. I know you like the show, but
I used to watch the show.
Well, everybody used to watch the show. But
everyone used to watch the show.
But I would say that the action in this movie is fairly similar to the action in those games.
The action in this movie is cool.
It's very cool.
It's very well done.
It's a $175 million movie, and all the money is on the screen, man. I mean, this is
you can see
big, huge scale film. I mean, this thing opens with an elephant battle.
The elephants, man. The elephant warships.
Yeah.
That are bringing in Mordred's men.
Yeah.
Who are going to fight Camelot.
Yeah.
It's quite a way to open a picture.
Because this movie, similar to Excalibur, does start with Uther, played by Eric Bana.
Very different Uther.
Very different Uther. Well, because in this, Uther is, from what little we see, seemingly a fairly benevolent king who has this guy scheming in the back, which is Jude Law as Vortigern, which is just a straight up bad guy name. How do you trust a guy named Vortigern? Actually, Vortigern.
Is that his brother?
I believe that's the idea. Yeah, Vortigern.
Because Arthur refers to him as his uncle. Like, my uncle is doing these things.
Now, Vortigern, interestingly, as I'm looking at this here, was a real historical figure, as opposed to being part of the King Arthur legend. Vortigern was I'm just looking here because I didn't look this up, was a 5th century warlord in Britain known as King of the Britons. So he was at some point King of the Britons, and I don't know if it's literally supposed to be this guy, but, is at least inspired on some level by a real guy.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's an interesting addition.
Yeah. And Jude Law is playing sniveling supervillain in this movie.
Oh, yeah. I love everything Jude Law's doing in this movie.
He's having a lot of fun.
He is playing it as, he's having so much fun. He's playing it just as, he's such a dick.
Yep.
He's just garbage.
There's kind of this run of movies that he does with this vibe, which is like this, Captain Marvel, and then he plays Captain Hook in Peter Pan and Wendy, and even a little bit in Skeleton Crew, the Star Wars show.
A little bit. He's probably a little more complicated than Skeleton Crew.
There's more, but there is a level of this performance in that for sure.
Yeah. He's like always in furs.
Yep.
And he just has this way of he sits crooked in chairs, and he's kind of slumped down when he's talking to people. He's just such an asshole. He's not. Yeah,
there's nothing complicated about this
it's
guy.
Great.
He's pure evil, and in every scene,
he's pure evil.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's very and so he
kills his wife.
Yep.
Early in the movie.
Yep.
Who I found it very odd because his wife is played by Katie McGrath, who I primarily known from being Morgana on Merlin.
There's a couple. It's mentioned here in the trivia. There's a few Merlin actors in this movie.
She was the one who caught my attention, just because she was such a main character, and I'm like, oh, it's her back in this world.
Let's see here. Where were the other ones that were? There's a lot of trivia on this movie. I see. No, she was the only person who was on it, but Freddie Fox, who's in this movie, who people may know from Slow Horses, his sister was on Merlin, Amelia Fox.
Oh, I didn't know they were siblings.
So there you go. That was what the connection was.
She was. Yeah.
So
she was definitely on Merlin.
So yes,
I didn't know they were related.
Yeah, that's his sister. She was that was the thing here that said. I thought they said he was on Merlin, but I see that now. Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah, there's a couple people. I will say there's a few women in this movie who kind of just are around. Annabelle Wallis doesn't have a lot to do either. I think. Let's see.
Yeah, but he's like killing the women in his family to get magic powers.
Right.
From an octopus woman like Ursula.
Yeah, I mean, there's some weird. I will say, there's just some weird stuff in this movie. This thing, for as grounded and as gritty as the Guy Ritchie stuff in, this one is also really leans into some of the weirdest fantasy stuff. I mean, Excalibur in this.
There is.
I mean, the movie's called Legend of the Sword, and the Excalibur in this is a full-on superpower sword. It's a Thor's hammer kind of weapon.
Yeah, it has powers, because we see that at the beginning of the movie with Uther, when he's battling Mordred's army and he leaps with an axe onto one of the elephants.
Yep.
And then you see him basically just be able to like wipe out his whole army with the power that he has on the sword.
Right. And so
it lights up.
Yep.
It lights their eyes up. It gives them powers.
And then, of course, later when Arthur's using it in a very Guy Ritchie fashion, everything goes into super slow motion as he starts kicking ass.
Well, it's got to.
Yeah. But literally, he's hitting people and they're flying 100 feet, you know. It's this, like, I mean, it's...
Well, because a lot of the movie is that because it has this power, he has to, like, learn how to use the power of Excalibur.
Yeah, it's...
Because it is... So, like, it keeps, like, knocking him unconscious at first because it's so powerful.
He has to learn to work with the sword, right? Like, it's sort of that's a big part of his journey in the movie, which is all very cool. I mean, it's similar to the Darksaber in Star Wars, right? Where it's like, if you don't properly wield it, it can hurt you as much as anybody.
Yeah, that is a good comparison.
Yeah.
I will say something I liked about this Arthur and the way he was written is he's more, even though he has a superpower, so he feels more human.
Well, I mean,
than a lot of the Arthurs we've seen.
He starts so downtrodden in a way that we really haven't seen per se, and then it really is meant to be like Guy plucked from obscurity into greatness, and so there's a lot about him struggling with sort of the weight of having to lead these people.
Yeah, and that's just not something we frequently see with Arthur. It's usually like, he's great, and he knows how to do this, and he's kind of unstoppable.
Yeah.
And this is an Arthur who, like, he gets hurt. He gets beat up at points. He's, walking around with a cane because he's injured his leg, and he, bad things are happening to the people around him, and he is affected by that emotionally. And that's just not something we usually see a lot with Arthur.
No, I could have...
that he is like, he's a person.
That was kind of my complaint about last week's movie, which is for as grounded as the movie was, I do wish there had been more of that in his character, or more just something in his character, because that movie was trying to be so realistic. That it was interesting that they didn't make him... Yeah, I know. That's what's interesting about this, is how much more vulnerable he is in the movie, where he has a literal magic sword.
Yeah. It's an interesting combo. You would think this would be the one where he's like, I'm freaking unstoppable. I got a magic sword.
He is at a certain point that. I mean, certainly by the end of the movie when he's just, sending guys a-flying and then fights giant, demon Jude Law.
Yeah. Yeah, Jude Law can turn into a demon.
Yeah, I mean, I will say...
We didn't mention that.
And I will say that's another thing, too. The movie is so just like, yeah, what? Like... with all the magic and stuff like that I do think perhaps there's some people are like, whoa. This is, it's a weird juxtaposition of grit and high fantasy.
Yeah, because the main woman, the mage, has like snake powers.
Yep.
She can like create snakes and control them.
It's the kind of thing I like I always talk about my love of 80s fantasy, and if you listen to the Excalibur episode, that definitely is a lot of what I like about that movie. But this kind of reminds me of Conan the Barbarian, which you can go back and listen to me talk about on the Pulp season of IP Squad, which similarly has this incredibly grounded, it's a very R-rated, story of this barbarian, but the bad guy can turn into a snake. You know, like it's just like it's that sort of thing where, once again, this is an incredibly serious, super bloody movie for adults, and yet he is fighting a supervillain leader of I mean, it's one of my favorite lines in that movie that they talk about. It's just like, oh, you're looking for Thulsa Doom. He's leading one of those snake cults. And I just like, excuse me? One of the snake cults? I love it. I love that it exists. Oh, I just love that because I mean, I'm a big fan of Conan, the Conan source material, particularly the Conan comic books. And that's just very comic booky. Like, he's this very gritty, realistic warrior who lives in a comic book world where it's like, yeah, you got to watch out for the snake cults, man. They'll get you. And so this movie is also very, I mean, like, and Lina Wigrom comes from comic books. I mean, that was his sort of approach to his pitch for the Sherlock Holmes movies before even Guy Ritchie got involved, was to do comic book Sherlock Holmes. And so this, yeah, this also feels like, I think that's something he brings to, I believe he also wrote Man from U.N.C.L.E., if I'm not mistaken, as well. You know,
that's a good one.
Man from U.N.C.L.E. is, you know, up there for in the discussion for like maybe Guy Ritchie's best movie, possibly.
It's a lot of fun.
It's a great movie. Yes, he wrote.
It's so much fun.
He wrote the first Sherlock Holmes, Man from U.N.C.L.E., and King Arthur with Ritchie, and produced all of these movies as well. He also is one of the producers in the Fantastic Beasts series. Oh, and actually, he also because he also produced all the Harry Potters, starting with Order of the Phoenix.
Okay, that's the fifth one.
Yeah, so he produced
I don't
those.
Know if you knew that.
Those I didn't. That's not my thing. So he produced what, the last three then, or the last four?
No, 4, because they split that seventh
one. Yeah, so he produced the last 4 Harry Potters and the Fantastic Beasts movies, and he's produced everything that Ritchie's done at Warner Brothers.
Okay.
And it's still, they're still talking about that third Sherlock Holmes movie.
They've been talking about that third Sherlock Holmes movie for a long time.
And it's going to be a while because Robert Downey Jr. is shooting 2 Avengers movies right now. So I think it's still going to be a little bit of a wait on. But I feel like every time I see an interview with him or Jude Law, they're like, no, it's happening. It's happening. And
no, it doesn't feel like it, guys.
Because Dexter Fletcher has been attached to direct for years now.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, who was, a longtime collaborator of Guy Ritchie's, which makes sense that he would take over the directing on that.
Yeah. But sadly, we never got a second Man from U.N.C.L.E.
No, which is just one of the biggest bummers ever. Because there should that's a real. There should be 5 of these.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's
there absolutely should be.
The best.
Way more of those.
It's the best, and the guy who is continuing that charge still is Lina Wigrom, who still is like, yeah, but did you see the home video sales? Like, yeah, it made this much, but like it's more than popular. More than explode. Yeah, that movie I feel like is one that that people really stuck with. This one, not so much. This is a movie that in a few years, and I feel like already kind of doesn't exist.
Yeah, I don't think this is one people talk about a lot.
I enjoy it. I'm not here to say, like, man, people really dropped the ball on this, though, because this is not my favorite Guy Ritchie movie by any stretch of the imagination. I think it's super fun. What I like about it is the Guy Ritchie stuff. One thing you were talking about when we were watching it was that you really enjoyed the Knights of the Round Table themselves.
Oh, yeah, this is easily the most I've enjoyed the side characters in one of these, because they have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
They're easier to tell apart.
Because it's a real good,
they're just really
ensemble.
Enjoyable, and they have a nice banter. It's a great ensemble, and usually the side characters are just like, well, they were nothing.
The thing,
but I really enjoyed these.
I like that the starting lineup of your Knights of the Round Table, which of course we see being built. I like that the movie ends with an uncompleted round table, right? And it's just like,
it's like half the table.
Yeah, I mean, there is some origin story stuff in this movie, right? In that way of in that comic book King Arthur Year 1 sort of way. but I like that Guy Ritchie has like a couple of the known ones and then some Guy Ritchie creations, and you can tell because Djimon Hounsou plays Bedivere, who is one, but Aidan Gillen plays Bill. And Craig McGinley plays Percival, but Freddie Fox plays Rubio. You know, and George, and Kingsley Ben-Adir. I didn't even catch that his name is only listed as Wet Stick, which feels like a character who should be in Snatch or Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Yeah, somebody call in Wet Stick.
Yeah, that is.
Because I mean, that is the thing about. If there's a character named Mischief John, you know, like there's.
Well, that's the whole thing earlier in the movie where they're giving information and they're saying like, well, we went to see like Bill. Well, which Bill? Like hat wearing Bill? Like no, black nose. Like they.
Mischief
John. All these names for everyone in this town.
Neil Maskell plays a character named Backlack. You know, like it's all, yeah. I mean, that's because that's the thing I was gonna say about the Knights of the Round Table in Guy Ritchie fashion feel like a gang. Like they're author's boys.
They absolutely are.
Yeah, he's the thing.
That's 100% what they are.
And yeah, he does. I mean, the thing that is, he's still. I mean, it really does go back to his first movie, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. The whole bit where they're like, all right, here's how we're going to do it. And then it speeds through and doesn't. It's like, wait a minute. And they got to back it up and show it again. And like, actually, hold on a second. It's going to go like this. And you're just like, man, there was not a lot of oversight on him on this, was there? Because these are very Guy Ritchie decisions.
They've seen this and gone like, oh, I guess we should have seen that coming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I mean, the Knights like really poke fun at Arthur and like especially his like table building, like what even is this thing that you're making? Is it a dance floor? Like what are you doing?
Yeah.
Which we don't usually see is the Knights like
there's a lot of tough guy horseplay, you know, like they're
right there. A lot of that.
Yeah, there's that sort of thing, which I do think once again is you know, I enjoy, but is strange to see in a movie where it's like, did I pay to see a King Arthur movie? What's happening right now? Yeah,
if you were paying for a King Arthur movie, this is not what you wanted.
I think the other thing that's very weird about it and thinking about it is the idea that this was meant to be a universe. Well, would all of them have felt like Guy Ritchie movies? Like, what would the other movies, what vibe would they have had? I can't, like, would the Lancelot movie also have felt like a gangster movie? Or would a different director, because I don't think the plan was Guy Ritchie was going to direct all of these.
I mean, I would doubt it just because I would assume he'd want to make other things than just King Arthur movies.
Yeah, he really, I mean, I think other than Sherlock Holmes, he's never made a sequel. I'll check if I'm right about that, but I believe that's. I think that's the only sequel he's made. So you know I don't think he's a franchise guy per se. I mean I don't get the sense that's what he's. I mean I know there's been talk about an Aladdin sequel, but I still don't even know if he's supposed to. Well, okay, I guess he is technically attached to do that, but and
I'm shocked that hasn't been made.
Yeah,
based on how much money that Aladdin movie made.
I think people forget that thing made over $1 billion, right?
It made so much money.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised
I think some of that may just be schedules, my guess. It's hard to pin him and Will Smith down, I would imagine, in particular.
Now he's got multiple TV shows.
Yeah, because he obviously, it's not a sequel, but he did sort of, you know, continue The Gentleman in form with the Netflix show, and he does Mobland, and he's doing young Sherlock Holmes for Amazon. I mean, he's not obviously day-to-day running these shows because that would be impossible. I think he's most involved in The Gentleman.
No, he doesn't do that.
Mobland, I think he's primarily a director on, and I think he's, you know, to some extent involved in young Sherlock Holmes. But yeah, he's also finished filming 2 other movies, In the Gray and Wife and Dog. So,
wow.
Yeah, you know, so Yeah, I mean, he's busy. He's busy. And I think it's very interesting that this movie was a spectacular financial failure and yet really had no effect on his career.
No, he's made so many things and so well known and popular when he does the things people like.
I mean, because the next movie he directed was Aladdin.
Yeah, and that was huge.
Yeah. I forgot he made Aladdin and The Gentleman in the same year.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize The Gentleman came out that same year.
So that's a classic, like, one for them, one for me kind of, studio director attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he bounced. I mean, I know, yeah. It's interesting. He just sort of, he's a guy who, I never get the sense that, like, if something doesn't work, he's just like, all right. He's
on to the next thing.
Yeah, because I don't hear him talk about this. I don't know, how much of this. I mean, it does feel very him, but like I said, the stuff that doesn't work is the stuff where you can feel Warner Brothers being like, yeah, but we want a King Arthur franchise.
We want to. So weird. That's what they wanted.
Yeah, I mean that.
I don't follow.
No, I still just think if summing up this whole experience, and I mentioned this a few times, is just like, I just don't think there's an audience for these movies. Not really. Not the one they imagine. Everybody knows what King Arthur is, but nobody seems super psyched to go see it. No matter what, and we've seen all these different takes on it. And time again, people... It's met with...
We've seen just like the basic one. We've seen the musical version.
Yeah.
We've seen focusing on the romance.
Yeah, we've seen high fantasy. We've seen the
darkness of it.
Yeah, we've seen high fantasy. We've seen totally grounded reality. And it just seems like people are just like, pass. I would say at most there seems to just be like indifference towards these movies. You're just like, oh yeah. I mean, it just feels stodgy. Even when you try, I mean, like, this is so super modern, and yet even still people are like, yeah, no, we're good.
Well, it's interesting that you've talked about wanting to do like a miniseries because it clearly was popular on TV. I mean, Merlin went 5 seasons and was very popular.
But that's because it's a totally, what drives people to tune into a show or click something on Netflix is radically different than what prompts people to get out of the house and go see it. Maybe if Netflix made a King Arthur movie, maybe.
Yeah, it seems like people are willing to watch it if it's just something they can watch at home. Because I said that show was really popular for its entire run.
But at the same time, stars Camelot was not.
On TV, there's a... Yeah, so I don't know.
I don't know either.
I mean Merlin also... did change quite a bit of things.
It was
I think, to make it appeal to people. Like it made a younger Merlin. It made a Guinevere who's not royal. She's, a maid in the house. Like they did change quite a bit, I think, to make it feel less stodgy and more appealing to people.
Mm-hmm.
Because you kind of have to, is what I've learned watching these movies.
Yeah.
Is you kind of, you especially like Guinevere, like you kind of have to make her not Guinevere to make her interesting.
Sure. I mean, the movies need to change with the times. I think this one, one of the problems here is this one is maybe too much chasing the times with the idea of it being this shared universe stuff. Like they're almost they're overthinking it with like, all right, what do people?
They definitely overthought it.
Yeah,
that they thought that far about a universe and 6 movies. It's like, whoa,
yeah,
that's way too much.
Yeah, it's just anyway. This movie ended up making $146.2 million against a production budget of $175 million.
It's not what you want.
No, and especially when only 39 million domestic. It only made 39 million in the U.S.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, this is one where it's like, no, this was a disaster, for sure.
Well, we haven't seen a King Arthur movie since.
No, and I don't
think
we. I mean, somebody inevitably. And I've mentioned the video, the Patrick Willems video essay about why do they keep coming back to Robin Hood and King Arthur. It's like every couple of years somebody's... I mean, Hugh Jackman just made a Robin Hood movie that's going to be coming out, I think, next year.
Well, there's a Robin Hood show coming on.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like...
That I just recently saw the trailer for.
Yep, yeah. This ain't your daddy's Robin Hood.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, didn't I just watch a Robin? I guess that was a while ago now, but it feels like I just watched that BBC Robin Hood show.
Yeah, there will be, no doubt, a Robin Hood season of IP Squad as well. Because I think there are even more.
There's so many.
Even more of those, yeah.
I mean, there's so many Robin Hood movies.
So many Robin Hood movies. It's crazy.
And you could go to Disney again because they got Robin Hood.
Mm-hmm. Of course. Yeah, I mean the
That's a better movie than Sword of the Stone, though.
I like that Robin Hood a lot. The Disney Robin Hood is great. All right, let's start. So where did that? Let's see. Where did that landed in the box office? What did I say it made? Like 140.
140 something.
148.
Rock bottom. That's down.
In the top 200, you think it's?
Guess how low that is.
I mean, I'll give you
it's like 100.
I'll give you the highest grossing movie of the year. No surprise, was Star Wars: The Last Jedi, which made 1.3 billion. Right there.
I did go to that.
Yeah, well, you went to a few of these because you definitely went to Beauty and the Beast, which made 1.2 billion.
Oh, I do love that Beauty and the Beast.
The Fate of the Furious, I think you went to.
Yep.
Which was also 1.2 billion. Despicable Me 3, 1 billion, a little over $1 billion.
Wow, I have not seen a Despicable Me movie.
Those were
past my time.
I think I saw the first two. I know I saw the first one. I think I might have seen the second one. And then in fifth place was Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle with 962 million. That was the first Jumanji of the Rock ones. So, and
that is a lot of money those movies made.
Oh yeah, and then even still into the top 10, then you've got like Spider-Man: Homecoming and Guardians Volume 2 and Thor: Ragnarok and Wonder Woman. So that was
a big year.
Yeah, and this thing made 140. What did I say? 147, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah, 149. About. Where do you think that landed it in the top 200?
60s.
Oh wow, 60 even.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 60.
I finally did it.
60th place, just above The Foreigner, which is a Jackie Chan, Pierce Brosnan movie, and just below Darkest Hour, the Gary Oldman Churchill movie. Now, those did well, though, because those were smaller budgeted films.
Those are smaller movies.
So, the Churchill movie making 150 is damn good, And same thing with Foreigner made 145 because that thing cost, 30 or whatever. These are smaller films. This thing was a disaster for Warner Brothers, and they instantly were like, "Forget the King Arthur.
Never mind.
Thoughts about
Never mind.
Yeah, forget it, man. Focus on Wonder Woman. That was big for us,
Wonder Woman was big, yeah.
Wonder Woman was huge,
That went a lot better.
Yeah. King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. Let's look at some highs and lows here. You can imagine there's a lot of very polarizing thoughts about this movie.
I'm sure.
Because, once again, anytime you take this big a swing, there are going to be people who really connect with it. And I land somewhere in the middle. Like I said, I think it's got some flawed vision before even, like, Guy Ritchie gets involved,
Yeah, I didn't realize it had that much history.
Yeah. And it did feel like, once again, Guy Ritchie snuck some of his stuff into what was totally like this corporate created entity.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, I think the fact that they got him, it probably makes it watchable.
Oh, 100%.
I think if they'd just gotten some random person,
a more anonymous filmmaker, this would have been intolerable.
Yeah, it would have been nothing.
I think
kind of interesting.
I agree. I think he gives it an energy that makes it watchable. But I still, Guy Ritchie's one of my favorite filmmakers, and I watch his movies a lot. This is not one that I've seen. Man from U.N.C.L.E. many more times than this. I've watched The Gentleman many more times. You know, I mean, that's the thing. The Sherlock Holmes movies, I think, are way better than
those.
this.
Those I go back to.
Yeah, exactly. I think those are really fun.
Watch them because
yeah. I think this one is, like I said, it's flawed, but the stuff that works is his stuff, and I'm glad that, like, obviously he met up with Hunnam here, who he's used successfully in other stuff, and so I mean, you know, there's good that came out of this, but this is not, you know, we were talking about Minister of Ungenderly Warfare, which is also in my possible discussion for his best movie. You know, is super fun.
One.
Yeah. All right, so
sweaters galore in that one. Can I just point out?
A lot of sweaters in that one. Although there's
a lot of sweaters.
You did enjoy the amount of furs in this movie.
There's so many furs in this movie.
Everyone's
wearing furs. Arthur's bed is all furs.
It's a fur heavy. Well,
I mean, the most fur we've seen.
It's what they had in medieval times to make warm stuff out of, so that makes sense.
Jude Law has like a fur cape.
He sure does. Yeah. All right. This comes to us from Phil Chappelle, 30942. All right. Title of the review is, "Why wasn't this the start of a trilogy?" Not only is this the best and most entertaining version of the King Arthur story, but it is one of the best interpretations of what it means to become a man. Bold, which means accepting and shouldering the responsibilities that come with that mantle. I've watched it 3 or 4 times now, and it gets better with each viewing. I'll watch it several more times throughout the rest of my life, too. If you're stuck or having a hard time making sense of your own life and situation, then I recommend you sit down and focus up while watching this movie. The lessons learned by the main character are applicable to your life as well. All of the actors are on their A game, and I'd donate every dollar of my own money to see them reprise their roles in a sequel. In all honesty, they should set up a 2-part sequel that explains more of the lore of the mages in the Darklands. If they get an A-list actor to play Merlin, there would be all the buzz around it, especially now that it's had time to circulate. This movie is why I'm such a big fan of Charlie Hunnam. I'm trying to think of negatives, and I can't think of any. The villain is portrayed by Jude Law, and his acting is phenomenal. You hate him while also feeling his pain when he makes sacrifices to gain the upper hand. They do a great job of humanizing him, even though he's evil. I would actually disagree with that. They don't really, and they don't even try.
I did not feel his humanity in this one.
It's like he's been taken by the power and can't control himself, which we've all witnessed in loved ones and friends who we know possess good, but end up lost in the abundance of opportunities to trip and fall into the depths. Watch this movie. If you've already seen it, watch it again. Especially if you're going through a hard time and need inspiration to push through, knowing that your destiny and kingdom is waiting for you on the other side. I think that's why critics wrote this one off when it was released. They knew it would unlock the trapped and broken manhood in the people who watched it, and that's not something the higher-ups want. So they keep giving us independent Disney princesses, and every male in the movie or show a weak guy who just couldn't accomplish anything without a woman, and even then they fall flat. The long-lost king has returned for his throne. Hail the true king. Nothing will stop his return, and all will prosper when he does, just as all will prosper when a true man stands up and leads his family. 10 out of 10 stars. Took a hard shift into alt-right there, didn't it?
I was going to say, I'm a little concerned.
Yep.
About that review and this view of this movie.
Yeah.
That is not what I took away from it, is that it's all about being a man.
I mean, it's about accepting responsibility. The fact that this guy wants to put that on manhood is really his own thing, but, you know.
Well, also, it's an issue review because it also seems to be like this is like a self-help tape almost, this movie.
If you're having a hard time, throw on King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, man. Which
is like, what?
But also, I like the idea that, like, the themes in this movie are the themes in countless other films, right? I mean, like, many other.
So many.
Any Star Wars movie covered, Yeah,
that I have been a Charlie Hunnam fan much longer than this man.
Oh,
because I go all the way back to Undeclared.
Of course.
And so, you haven't even been a fan that long, man.
Not a true. Wow.
Andrew Weird.
Calling him out. Not a true fan.
Not a true Charlie Hunnam fan.
Yeah.
Unless you were there.
Yeah.
2001.
Yeah. I mean, that's where I remember seeing him for the first time, certainly.
Canceled.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, one of the best.
Fox show.
Add
to the list of unfairly canceled Fox shows.
Yeah, there's a lot of unfairly canceled shows, and most of them were on Fox. It's crazy.
That's easily the weirdest review we have seen.
Well, here we go. How about this one that comes to us from Shaw Thing Productions?
Is a production company?
I guess so. Titles of the review, A Disappointing Mess. There are very little redeeming qualities about this mess of a film, and it really is a mess. If I had to walk away with a positive, though, I would say the music was pretty good for the most part. That's never a good sign if your one thing is the score.
The music is good. It's good.
Daniel Pemberton did the score for this. I will say it's very similar to the score in Ritchie's Holmes movies. It's maybe, bumped up a little bit in scope for this, but yeah, anyway. All right. So where to start? Oh boy, this always gets me on these reviews when somebody goes, so where to start?
Oh no.
The acting from Charlie Hunnam, parentheses, I loved him as Jax Teller, is laughable. Almost as laughable with how pretty he was in one of the final fight sequences of the film, even though he'd just taken a pasting. He is so wooden, so unbelievable that it's hard to take him seriously or believe anyone would follow him. It helps that the rest of the acting is shoddy, too. The female mage is so flat, she may as well be horizontal. Oh, ha-ha. I have to imagine there was a ha-ha after that. David Beckham's cameo is out of place and painful. Actually, I really had no issue with the David Beckham cameo.
I didn't have any issue.
I thought he was
not in it very much.
I thought he was totally fine for the couple lines and did not distract from it to me. But whatever. Well, what did you expect when they saw fit to employ Denny from EastEnders? The lad can't act in the soap, let alone... I don't know which one is Denny from EastEnders, by the way.
I don't know. I've never seen EastEnders.
EastEnders is so purely British. I feel like there probably are not a lot of American fans.
I'm aware of EastEnders, but I have no idea who that is.
I'm going to look that up, just out of curiosity. Who was Denny on EastEnders? Because I want to know who he's bashing on. It's probably somebody good. Denny EastEnders.
I didn't think any of the acting was bad in this movie, so I don't know who he's talking about.
He's talking about EastEnders. Which guy is this?
It's Denny.
Which guy?
Is it the dad of that boy?
Portrayed by Nigel Harmon. Who did he play in this? Sorry, I like that this is now turned into like, what the fuck is this guy?
We're on an EastEnders.
Daniel Harmon played. This is good podcasting. People love when I look stuff up. Did I say Daniel Harmon? Nigel Harmon. Oh, Nigel Harmon. Yeah, because he's British, right?
Yeah, it's much more British than Daniel.
Yeah, than Daniel Harmon. He created Community. I don't even see him listed here.
Oh. Then I'm really confused.
Nigel Harmon. Yeah, I don't actually know. I don't know which one he is. Huh.
Well.
Nigel Harmon, EastEnders.
I guess
film work.
If you know EastEnders, leave it in the comments. Who is Denny in this? And what do you think about his acting?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway. Unless they mean Dennis. Hold on. I think there might be two different Denny.
Are there two different Dennys?
Well, there's Dennis and then Denny Jr. I think they mean Denny Jr.
Oh, okay.
Who? Let's see. Is he in this movie? Yes.
Okay.
He is
found him.
He is not the father of. He is the son of the guy who ends up carrying.
He's taking a shot at a kid.
Who is taken care by his father and Arthur. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
the son of Backlack. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, what the heck, man?
Man,
he's a kid.
I also didn't.
And he's fine.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't stand out, but he didn't stand out for bad reasons either. So I don't know. Anyway, sorry, that's that far. Sorry for that.
Good Lord.
The lad can't act in the soap, let alone a movie. Anytime a soap actor appears in a blockbuster, I get that sinking feeling. Let's not forget that Charlie started in Biker Grove, going even deeper, but we can't hold that against him. We can hold this film against him. Jude Law was decent enough, stepping away from his usual type of character, one of the only characters you could believe in, but one you're not supposed to like. The problem being, as he is the only believable character in the film, you can't help but root for him. The rest of the performances were paint by numbers, collecting a paycheck, and if this was the best Guy Ritchie could get from them, perhaps he isn't fit for being a director. And to be fair, he probably isn't. At least this type of film. He nailed Snatch and Lock, Stock, that much is a given, and there are traces of that directorial style in this film. But the problem is it felt forced and out of place here. Put with that the fact that Guy simply cannot direct action. You have a problem. It felt like two films. One film where you get suckered in with the stories the characters are telling, and the other you're wishing your life away watching rubbish CGI, limp acting, and a muddled mess of a fight sequence. Seriously, why so many slow-motion shots of Charlie cutting through wood? In one scene where he uses the sword, it happened so fast that I still don't really know what happened. And the fight at the end, I still don't know who hit who for the best part of it. Although given how pristine Charlie looked afterwards, I'm guessing he had time to pop off to a spa whilst the big bad fought alone. The script is as much to blame as the cast and crew, though. It's a mess, jumbled up with too many dialogue sections spliced with flashbacks that aren't necessary. For this kind of film, perhaps a more linear story would have made more sense. As mentioned above, it felt like a film of two halves because of the constant jumping back and forth and switching to medieval swordplay. It was also trying to be funny when that too missed the mark. The audience laughed a couple of times, a couple more than myself. But that was it. This is the first time I've stepped away from a Guy Ritchie film and felt such bitter disappointment. Had this been someone's first film, I doubt they would ever work again. 1 out of 10 stars.
Good God. I mean, my goodness.
I mean, that is the whole thing with this segment, right? Is like the extremes on either end are crazy.
He's so focused on he looked pristine.
Yeah. Why does this guy look so good? Curse you! Curse you, Charlie Hunnam, and your handsomeness. Why? Why are you so hot? Why are you so hot?
Yeah, that was really bugging. He's too good looking.
Yeah, this guy, man, he's too good looking. That's what I say.
Also, there's tons of actors that have started on soap operas have gone on to be very talented actors. So that's ridiculous.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, that's just absurd.
Goodness.
Yeah.
So that he can't direct action? Come on.
Well, that's just not. Of course, that's not true.
That's just not accurate.
No, I mean, obviously, I consider him one of the best action directors. So, you know, it's. Yeah, it's just stupid.
That's what we feel. It's just stupid.
There you have it. There's King Arthur Legend of Sword, and so ends our King Arthur investigation. To which I will say, there's not a lot of good King Arthur movies, are there?
No. That was definitely the lesson I learned.
Yeah, most of these aren't great.
Nope.
What would you say? Boring. What would you say are the ones people should watch? Because obviously, I stand for Excalibur.
I mean, yeah, Excalibur is probably the one to watch if you really want like all of the pieces of the King Arthur story, but a little bit actioned up. Not quite as it's not as boring.
Right. That thing moves at a clip.
The other ones. Yeah. So if you're looking for like, I want the beats of King Arthur, but I want a little bit more action.
Yeah.
Then Excalibur would be where to go.
But like, I don't even know where I would go after that. I don't know. Because this one, the problem with this one is it's not a very good.
Depends on like what you want to see.
Like this one, I think is the most fun of the rest of the bunch, but it's not a particularly good King Arthur movie.
No, I would say like if you're looking for something medieval and kind of fun, I would say watch this.
But I still don't think anyone's like killed it, and I really do think that it's been my point all along. We've even mentioned on this episode. I really do think that I just don't think a feature film is designed to contain the entire Arthurian myth.
No, it's tough. You have to move so quickly.
Borman gets the closest with Excalibur. But he's sacrificing certain things by doing that, but it is the most watchable take of a guy doing about a 2-hour take.
Way too much to cover.
It's a lot.
It's so hard.
And also maybe cool it with I've never seen the Lancelot and Guinevere stuff work on film.
Oh my gosh. The Lancelot and Guinevere stuff is exhausting.
Yeah, it's way too often falls into.
I don't think I ever cared about Lancelot and Guinevere.
Yeah,
my goodness.
The only place, once again, even like Excalibur, the smart thing about it is it's part of the tapestry of the tragedy as opposed to being invested on like a romantic level.
Yeah, that has. I mean, setting aside the movies that don't have her, I guess there's just the one that doesn't have her. That one, yeah, has the least, I guess, other than the movie King Arthur, which doesn't really get into that.
Except for that one lingering look.
Except for that one lingering
look. Which is almost just like, there you go. You people wanted it. Yeah, he thinks she's hot. But you're like, yeah, okay, whatever.
It has the least amount of that sort of like melodrama. Everyone's crying. Oh, we're so in love, but we can't be together. And it's just like, oh.
Yeah. So.
I don't care. I just don't care about them.
Nope.
And I'm someone who will get into a romance.
Yeah.
Like, that is usually like my thing.
Totally.
In movies.
I'm very much aware of it.
And so, yeah, so when I don't care, it's like, wow, that's always weird to me.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. Well, so ends our King Arthur investigation, but of course the IP squad, we never rest. We continue to investigate these things. And actually, Guy Ritchie will show up again on the next season, because the next season is Sherlock Holmes. We are looking at the film and some television movie versions of Sherlock Holmes. The thing we are doing to keep that season, which will still be kind of a longer one, but not, the next 8 years of my life, we are looking at one performance from each of the actors who played Sherlock Holmes, because you have like a Basil Rathbone who made like 14 movies as Sherlock Holmes. So we're only going to do one Rathbone, one Cushing, one of each of them. So we will look at each. So we're only going to do the first of the Robert Downey Jr. Guy Ritchie movies and stuff like that. We will cover the first episode of Cumberbatch, because that technically is feature length, so that does count. But yeah, that will be fun. It will be the return of the Jones Boys, who everybody heard on the Pulp season. So Robin and Brendan Jones will be back with me for that discussion of the Sherlock Holmes movie. We'll also get Disney back in there with the Great Mouse Detective as well. So that will be fun. And of course, because by the time these are coming out, I think roughly either it's started or it's about to start. You can see Kinsey on our YouTube channel watching horror movies on the Horror Shelf, which she and I do reaction videos to horror movies of all shapes and sizes and eras and subgenres, and
covering it all.
Yep. So you can head over there. Make sure you do that, because that's on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/@punchupentertainment. And of course, if you want more bonus content from us and all the shows on the Punch Up Entertainment Network, head over to our Patreon page, which is patreon.com/punchupent. That's punchupent. Like I say, cool exclusive bonus content, as well as help support all the shows on the Punch Up Entertainment Network. But I think that's going to do it for this week's episode. Until next week, the case file is closed.